We haven't done a terrain project on the channel in a while, so let's make some cool, creepy, standing stone, sort of weirdo altar, stuff. Hello and welcome to another episode of Blastercaded Painting. Today we're just going to make some cool, creepy standing stones for, your games of Warhammer, I guess, or Silver Bayonet. That would be a good one to use it for. Here's what it comes down to. I'm going to keep pushing Silver Bayonet as hard as I can because it's a fantastic game. Here we go. So I got some styrofoam chunks here, kind of all roughly the same size, and I'm going to put them together so that they're close to the same. I'll get rid of the edges and all that, and then I'm going to glue two of them together. And this is just to bulk them up so they're not thin stones. So we'll just glue two pieces together, and there will be a seam that we'll have to deal with, but we'll deal with that. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit, but I just start by grabbing my sharp X-Acto knife and start shaving off random edges to just kind of get a shape that I like, basically. So just start cutting. It's kind of an organic process. Yeah, chunks here, chunks there, sort of start making it look like, I don't know, a weird sort of rock, kind of like a crystal shape at first is what we're going for. So you can do that. So as you see there, and we kind of want to get rid of any natural flat spots, and by natural I mean how the foam came, so we kind of want to get rid of those pieces and just slowly go through and taking chunks out, and then you can put your blade in and kind of pop out a piece, and that'll give you a weird sort of edge. And yeah, we're just going through and making it look like a stone. You see, it's organic, like I said. And then we'll take a rock and we'll just texture the stone with an actual rock. So we're using a rock to make a rock. Hey, if you guys could just hit the subscribe button or the like button down there, that would help us out a lot here. It makes me happy if you want to do that. Also, if you want to support us any further, you could check out our Patreon link in the description below. YouTube stuff. Next, I'm going to grab some Elmer's glue, and I'm going to just put this pretty thickly in the seam that we have. So this is going to kind of fill that in and hide that seam, so it won't be very noticeable. So I have a piece of MDF here that I glued some sand to a long time ago to make islands, and I kind of abandoned that project. So I'm going to use this piece and just hot glue these rocks down in sort of a 3 semicircle pattern. I'm going to take the chunks that I have left over from when I made, the stones, and I'm just going to fill in around the bases with those. So that's going to bulk up the area so that when we go to smooth it out, it's not going to be as big of a process. It's just basically to fill in the gap, sort of. Then I'm going to just take some basic painter's tape here, and I'm going to sort of level it off. I've done this before with tin foil and wet paper mache, but this is so much quicker. It ends up looking pretty close to the same, so yeah, this is an easy way to sort of build up a landform. So I actually saw this trick years ago in the Making Warhammer Terrain book. They had a book that you could buy that showed you how to make terrain, and I had forgot about it, and I saw it on MS Paints, which is a great channel, and I was like, oh my god, I completely forgot about that. So this is an old, or maybe not old, but a much older way of creating a landform without using tinfoil and paper mache or sculpt-a-molds, things like that. This is a much easier, cheaper way to do it. I think in the end it looks just as good, but I mean, it's everybody's preference. But yeah, this is an easy way to do it. Once I have those landforms all done, I'm just going to cover everything in white glue. Yeah, just going to cover it all, and then I'm going to chuck some sand on it. And I just got this sand at my local beach. Once that's all dried, I'll go in and I'll fix any spots that are bare, and then this is what it looks like. Put that glue on apparently pretty thick because it's like wet dry. So then I think I remember on Skyrim they had some rocks that like were like standing stones that had holes in them. So I grabbed a drill and a big drill bit and I just drilled some holes right through them. I'm going to take some burnt umber here, and this is just going to go on all the sand, all the land parts underneath here. So that's just the first layer of paint we're putting on. I'll get that on first. You could do the stones first, but I want to save the stones for after because we're going to do a bunch of different things to them. And we're taking some white glue and some black paint. We're going to make a big mix of that, and that's going all over the stones. And the white glue and the black paint will actually help protect it and stiffen it a little bit. Just a note as I'm doing this project, it's a very sunny, hot day here, so I kept taking the piece outside to dry in the sun, and that, with the glue and the paints and the washes, that added a little bit of cracking to some of the layers. So if you don't have a hot sunny day or something like that, maybe use a heat gun, and with the glue and washes and all that we're going to be using, it adds a little bit of cracking to it, so it's a nice sort of textury thing that you can get on there. Now you can take some white paint, you can start adding that into the black glue mixture you did, and you can start just dry brushing on grays to all of your rocks. I'll do this in like 4 or 5 different layers, like, so now I've added more white paint, so we're just bringing up the dry brushing and going a little lighter each time, but heavier in some spots. Like, again, it's kind of organic. You just want to get it to a point where you're like, oh, I like how that looks. Like, it's hard to describe exactly, this is exactly what I did, but yeah, you want it to just make it the way you want. I'm going to take some yellow ochre and some burnt red. I'm going to water these down with speed paint and water, and I'm going to just put patches of them all over the rocks. This is apparently a technique called leopard spotting. I think you're supposed to do it over white, but I wanted it to look very muted, so I did it this way. And while that's still wet, you can start adding the burnt red, and those are going to kind of mix together. Then I'm going to take some black shadow dip and some speed paint medium and some water as well. And while some of it's still wet on there, I'm going to just throw this over the entire rocks. Once that's dried, I'm going to take that gray that I made again. This is all still wet on my palette, and I'm just going to do another dry brush up on those rocks. And it gives them a lot of variation, a lot of undercolors and stuff. They end up looking really nice. I'm going to take some cashmere tan, and I'm going to use this to dry brush all the land form, so all the sand and all the brown and everything. Then I'm going to take some charming chartreuse and some white glue. I'm going to mix that together into a paint, and this would be good for like ooze or snot or something like that. But then I'm going to take some flock that I have, and I'm going to mix it in there, and we're basically making like a mossy paste. Once that's all mixed together, I'm just going to start putting it on random spots on the rocks, and this is going to kind of look like moss at the end. Like, it's going to dry, obviously a lot more matte. It's not going to look like goo, but yeah, this is a fun little way to do like moss and sort of algae, sort of lichen-y sort of stuff. It's sort of like 6 times. Anyway, I'm going to put some more glue down in certain areas around the rocks. Like, I tried to avoid the spots that like people would be walking up to them. And then I got a static grass applicator on Amazon for like $20. It's not the best, but anyway, I will put it all over those spots that I just put all that glue down. Then I'll put down a little bit more glue, like little patches, and I'm going to glue some flock down. So some of them will be over the static grass, and some of the static grass still has glue underneath, so it all kind of blend together. Then I'll take some clump foliage that I have. That's Woodland Scenics, just clump foliage, and some super glue, and I'll just put down little tiny sort of bushes. Then I'll take some leaf green here. I'm going to dab that onto the clump foliage I just did. So it's not just green, like dark green. I want to have some color and some variation to it. And I'll take some yellow ochre, and then I'll sort of dab that onto where I just did the green and stuff. So giving variation to the colors of the green it just makes it look a lot more natural than just straight dark green. And then I'll take some burnt red, and these could be like little, little berry bushes, and I don't know, whatever. But anyway, we are also using the colors that we did with the stones. So to your eye, it's going to kind of bring those colors out of the stone a little bit as well. So it's a little bit of like visual trickery. I'll take some more of that leaf green. I'll just do a dry brush over the moss once it's dried, and these standing stones are all done. So what do you guys think? I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's a cool little terrain piece that, is mine. I made it, so nobody else has it. It's not 3D printed, So it's something you can do, and it's pretty simple. You don't have to have a static grass applicator. You don't have to do that. I just did it because I like how it looks. You could just do the flock. Like, there's a way that you can do this cheaper without having to do like speed paints and mediums. Like, you could have just mixed green paint and glue and flock into that. You don't have to have the clump foliage. All you really need is the MDF, some sand, some paints, and some styrofoam, and you can do pretty much the same thing. I just wanted to dress it up a little bit. It's fun making terrain. This project took a day. Like, I just sat here on a Saturday and just kind of worked on it while I filmed other things, and like kept taking it outside to dry. And it's just a fun filler piece that you can do also to get an easy win when you're done. You look at it and go, oh great, that's great for the table now. And we just want to thank our Patreons Charming Grenade and Richie Fender. Thanks so much for supporting the channel, you guys. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. And if you want to support the channel further, down in the description below is the link to our Patreon. And that certainly helps us out here. So you guys have a great day.